Hey there everyone. So I just went into one of my cupboard drawers in my little witchy multi-drawer, whatever that is over there that I have in the corner. And I was looking for something in particular and I realized I think I may have a little bit of a tarot problem. So I decided to share with you my tarot decks, why I have them, what they are, through. Okay, so I have a plethora of tarot decks, and believe it or not, I have actually downsized my collection because at one point I was gifted a lot of decks, and this included oracle decks and tarot decks that I didn't particularly want or need, so I wound up selling them or giving them away, either option. Of the ones that I kept, I know a lot of people collect tarot decks, which is wonderful. A lot of people have a lot of different reasons for getting the decks that they have, so I wanted to go over my reasons for my decks. One of the oldest that I have is this one here, the Goddess Tarot. And this particular deck I got in London. I had the deck previous to the trip to London, but it was lost, unfortunately, with luggage that went awry, so I replaced it in London. And this is going to be the start of my story. I tend to collect tarot decks from places that I am traveling to. So either places I'm traveling to or they have some other special emotional meaning to me. So this one is from London and I really enjoyed this deck. And then I have these two. This one is not tarot, this is a set of playing cards. I'm trying to find which side is the front. Playing cards from Spain. And then this is a deck of Rider-Waite tarot cards. You'll notice that they are done up in Spanish. I bought these in Spain while I was living there for a year teaching English. There was a little rinky-dink metaphysical shop. It was kind of creepy. It was, yeah, it bordered on the dark side of things. But I bought this deck as kind of a remembrance of Spain, and it is in Spanish, so I love that. And this deck is the traditional playing cards, and they look a little bit different. Different number of cards. And the reason I like these is they're very similar to another deck I'll show you in a moment, which is the traditional playing cards that my grandparents or that my grandmother used, the scat cards from Germany. So I have these are the Spanish playing cards. Then I have, speaking of my grandmother and playing cards in Germany, this is a very old deck of scat cards that are from one of my visits when I was a kid to my grandmother. And I never learned how to play the game with these. My grandmother would play with her friends. I never learned. I played a different game. My sister and I played a game that was kind of like Uno, I guess. Not Uno, but where you have to get to one card, whatever that kid's game is. We played something similar with these. And I've just always loved these cards. Recently, like within the last year or so, I developed an interest in learning how to read playing cards. And specifically, I want to learn how to read these kind of cards. Partially because they're very special to me, and partially because it's easier, there's fewer cards. I think there's only 36 cards or some such. So I have these. Now because of these, I did wind up also buying a deck, the Swiss IJ Tarot. And the reason I got this one was because the imagery reminded me a lot of those cards from when I was a kid. Seemed very similar, so I really like these. And these are an older deck, I think from, I want to say like the 1974. So this is a vintage deck. And I got these. I don't really use these. I haven't used them. I just got them because they remind me of the cards from my grandparents. Along with that, I did want something in German. So I bought a rider deck in German. And you'll notice this one is a smaller deck compared to the normal size. This is the little pocket size. But I found this, ordered it specifically because it's in German. I like to have things in the other languages that I speak and take up. And lastly, again, this was a German, and I believe both this one and this next one, which is the Heindel Tarot, I believe I ordered them both from Germany. So this one I got for the imagery. Absolutely beautiful imagery. And I kind of have a thing about, if I know where the artist is from, in this case Germany, I like to get a deck in that language. I like to have something that is unique to the artist. Now these I love. They're beautiful, but they have kind of too much going on in them for me right now. So these are more, these really work for me for like meditation, or when I want to focus on a specific aspect of the deck, either the imagery or some of the, there's runes, there's Hebrew lettering, there's I Ching, there's everything in these cards. So, and they're really big. This is much too big for me to handle as a reading card. So these are kind of more for inspiration for me. That's how I use them. But I have these also, partially because of the German thing. And then I have a couple of decks. These are just playing cards. These are playing cards because I wanted to learn how to read the playing cards. Nothing fancy about these. These are Celtic playing cards that my mom got me. And these I like because these are really kind of nifty. Same, they're just playing cards, but they're a little bit prettier than your standard cards. And this is important to me, and here's the back. This is important to me, you'll see. I like pretty cards, even for just playing regular card games, because here is what I grew up with. My family, we don't play cards, but my grandmother is a canasta fiend. I'm telling you, she taught my sister and I how to play canasta, and every time we went to visit, man, it was a rumble. We would play teams, my sister and I, against my grandma and her sister. It was a big deal. But the cards that we would use were these. These are similar to the French cards, French scat cards. And you'll see they're just kind of a little bit prettier. They're not as plain, especially the suit, not the suits, the what do you call these people? The royal people. They have detail, they have character, they have expression. I really like these. So I wanted, even in playing cards, I want something a little bit more expressive. Now, these actually, where are my scat cards? The cards that I showed you earlier, these, the German cards, there is a version, this is the traditional version, with the acorns, leaves, etc. But there is a version of these with this type of imagery. It's all exactly the same, so exactly like these cards. It's called the French, they're called French cards versus the German cards. Exactly like these, except you do not have all of the numbers. So I believe they start at 6 or 7 and go through the court cards. That's what they're called, court cards. So these I love, and these are what I wanted to learn how to read. Now, a couple of side notes. All right, this one I've had because it was part of my sister's bachelorette party that I was supposed to throw for her, so I got a set of Kama Sutra tarot. They're cute, they're kitschy. I like them, don't really use them. So I may wind up getting rid of these. So if anybody wants these, I have them. You're welcome to them. Chat with me, we'll talk pricing. Because I believe I have them for sale right now on Amazon. All right, now the last two decks I'm going to show you. One is, these are Oracle decks. I don't do a whole lot with Oracle decks, just because I really never got into them. But this is where I've told you my story on how I decide which cards I want to keep. They generally have some emotional value to me, or I associate them with a place, traveling, something like that. These two decks are important to me because they are the most expensive decks that I have. This one is an Egyptian cartouche deck. I never used it. I don't really like it. I don't like Egyptian stuff. It was one of the ones gifted to me by a friend who was getting rid of all of her tarot stuff. And the reason I've hung on to it, I believe it's for sale right now on Amazon. I think I still have it up. I need to check my Amazon listings. But the reason I still have it is because when I listed this, I found out apparently it's out of print or something, and this goes for over $100. This little bitty deck. So if anybody's interested, let me know. Similar to that, I found a deck of cards, and this is the artist I had mentioned in a previous video that I absolutely love her stuff. Love her stuff. It's beautiful. Salmeth Wulfing. And this is the Mother's Wisdom deck. And I found out about these fairly recently because the little botanical shop where I work, she has a ton of decks, oracle decks, tarot decks, everything. And I saw these, fell in love with them, said I have to have them, looked them up. These are selling, wait for it, these are selling for between $500 and $2,000 for the deck. Is that ridiculous? It's absolutely ridiculous. So what do I do, idiot that I am? I did not spend $500 on this deck, but I did spend $115. So these two decks are my absolute most expensive decks. This one I love and cherish and will keep forever. It's beautiful. I'll show you some of the pictures here. Right, just quick because we have to get on to, I have some other stuff I promised. These are just so pretty, these images. And each of them comes with a little bit of Mother's Wisdom on the back. So Mother's Day is coming up. I thought it would be appropriate to show these off as well. All right, so my question to you on that, for those of you who collect decks, what is either your most expensive tarot deck, and why did you spend the money on it? Or what is your most valued tarot deck? Doesn't have to be expensive, but why does it have the most value for you? I would really love to know. All right. Last note, Lenormand. Lenormand cards are something different. They're apparently more popular in Europe than they are here in the United States, but these are beautiful cards. I like this Gilded Reverie. It comes in a cute little box, and I just love the imagery. The images are gorgeous. Look at this. These are just beautiful. And it's all, the sides are gilded. Gold. These are absolutely lovely cards. And I have one other Lenormand deck that I do not currently use, but again, I bought them and this was from a European seller. This is Plantic. Again, this is the same, this is a popular card manufacturer in Austria. So these are Austrian, and these are more traditional Lenormand cards. And the reason I bring these up, again, I like the Lenormand cards because they're a bit easier to learn than traditional tarot. There's only 36 cards, and the cards are very straightforward. Each card has a specific meaning, and the readings are read more like a story, more like a sentence, rather than massive amounts of interpretation. So that is nice to me for, you know, a little bit of a kind of a relaxing time rather than, I don't know, the regular tarot seems a bit more stressful for me at times. But I really like these cards. They're very straightforward, they're beautiful. I like working with them. So, thanks very much again for taking a look at all my cards. And if you have insight as to, again, what is your most valued deck? What is your most expensive deck? I would love to hear those stories from you. Please do include them below or send me a message. If you would like a reading, please check out the Etsy shop. If you would like a different kind of reading that's not offered, so if you want something personalized to you, please send me a note. I'm happy to do that as well. All right, thanks very much. I hope this was fun and entertaining looking at all these beautiful cards, and I will talk to you again later. Bye.